into. We are now going to move to a teaching by Rabbi Nancy Rita Myers of Temple Beth David. Not everybody is able to function at 1:10 a.m. So she provided a pre-recorded teaching with a couple of discussion questions that we'll have a little opportunities to engage with Rabbi Myers. Just take a second to get it going. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Nancy Myers. I'm just concluding my 16th year or starting my 17th year at Beth David in Westminster. I am honored to join you here on Shavuot, Chag Sameach. The title of this session is Moses and Akiva and the Changing and Unchanging Nature of Torah. So this is going to be based off a teaching in the Talmud from Menachot, which features Rabbi Akiva and Moses. So before I go into it, I'd like to give you some background about Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, he lived between 95 and 135 of the Common Era, and there are a lot of famous legends of him. One of them is that he started off being a shepherd for a wealthy man known as Kalba Savua. Kalba had a daughter, Rachel, and she somehow just took a liking to Akiva. Maybe it was his humility, there was something about him. And she actually proposed to him. She said to him, if I am willing to be betrothed to you, do you promise to attend a house of study? Akiva quickly agreed to her terms, and so secretly they were betrothed or promised to one another. However, when her father heard of this, he was very angry. He threw her out and vowed that she would not inherit any of his property or benefit from his wealth in any way. And so Rachel and Akiva, they got married. They were so poor that they had to make their bed out of straw. And one night, Akiva was picking straw out of her hair. And he said, if I had the means, I would give you a Jerusalem of gold. There was a knock on the door. And they answered it. And there was a poor man asking them, beseeching them, is there any way they can spare any straw? His wife is about to give birth. She has nowhere to lay down on. Now, they did not know it was the prophet Elijah in disguise. He gave this straw. And Akiva said, how lucky are we? At least we have straw. Yes. Thereafter, Rachel insisted that he go and study. So Akiva was about 40 years old at the time and had never studied anything. So as he was out taking a walk, he noticed this water flowing over this rock and through it. And he wondered, what hollowed out this stone? It was the water. And Akiva reflected, is my mind harder than stone? No, I will go and I will study. And so Akiva goes away, astoundingly, for 12 years and makes a name for himself. He learns and studies, becomes wise. And after 12 years, he returns home with 12,000 disciples. Everyone comes out to greet this great scholar. When Rachel heard she was running out of her home, a neighbor stopped her and said, wait, you must put on something presentable. Borrow a dress I have, anything. And Rachel insisted that Akiva would recognize his faithful wife. As Rachel was coming closer, seeing Akiva surrounded by all of his students, she started to approach Akiva, was getting ready to bow down in front of him, when one of the students started to push her away. Akiva looks, says, stop that. Leave her alone. Let her be. Don't you realize that mine and yours are rightfully hers? In the meantime, Kalba Savua heard that a great man had come to town. He was feeling so much remorse over his vow he made years ago. So he was going to the sage that his vow could be lifted. And as he's standing before him, Akiva recognized him. The Kalmah did not know who he was. And Akiva says, if you had made your vow, if you had known that your daughter's husband would become a great king, Kalmah says, no, not even that. If he had just known even like one chapter, one halakha, one law, I would not make it. Akiva says, well, I am your daughter's husband. So overcome with emotion. The vow is abrogated, and half of his wealth is in the covenant. So that's a little bit about Rabbi Akiva. You know who Moses is, the one who stands before Pharaoh, is teaching your letter through the parted sea of reeds, and is at the foothills of Sinai. And Moses ascended Mount Sinai 40 days and 40 nights to seek our sacred Torah. So, according to Menachot, this tradition of the Torah, Rabbi Akiva says, in the name of God, Moses ascended on high. He found HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the one blessed Baruch Hu, sitting and tying crowns on the letters of heaven. That was not only just writing the actual letters, Moses said before God, Master of the universe, what's stopping you from just revealing all these crowns? I don't understand. And God says, well, there's a man who's destined to be born after several generations. Should have been his name. And he is destined, Rosh, found all called derived from each and every throne on his crowns upon crowns for him. But the crowns must be added to the letters of the Torah. Moses said before God, Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe, show him to me. I must know who the man is. I must return behind you. So Moses is transported. God brings Moses into the future. 1,000 years later. And Moses is sitting in the back of the classroom in the row, hearing Rabbi Akiva teach. Rabbi Akiva Torah. Moses is listening, concentrating, trying to concentrate some more. I can't understand what he's saying. This is very confusing. And Moses is feeling demoralized. He can't understand anything that Moses is teaching, any of this Torah. But then, when Rabbi Akiva arrived at the end of the subject matter, one of his students said, my teacher, where do you derive this from? And Rabbi Akiva said to them, Halacha leMoshe miSinai. Is halacha transmitted to Moses from Sinai? When Moses heard this, his mind was put at ease, as this too was part of the Torah that he was to receive. It's like somehow he was comforting to Moses, that this was the result of the revelation of Torah passed down l'dor v'dor from generation to generation. And it was being taught as coming from Moses, as coming from God at Sinai. So isn't that interesting to see how that even Moses didn't even recognize the Torah? Any of you who study the Torah know that there's been great changes and evolution over time. I mean, just look at the book of Leviticus and all the numerous ways that our people would make animal offerings on the altar. Pigeons, goats, sheep, cow, bull. This was a way of our people of expressing their gratitude to God, of saying that they're sorry for sins they committed, and observing their sacred days and holidays throughout the year. Well, guess what? Since 70 CE, since the destruction of our second temple, there have been no more animal offerings. So the rabbis in the rabbinic period said, well, what will take the place of it? It'll be study and prayer. That was an incredible transformation in Jewish life in the first century of the Common Era. That was astounding. But it allowed us to continue to evolve, to change, and to adapt. I mean, this is what Jews have been doing The role of priest really became transformed as a result of that. You can just seeing me as a rabbi, the role of women. I mean, I could not have been a rabbi in the past. I mean, this is a result of a modern period. There have been major changes in our society, and Judaism has had to adapt and evolve. It's one of our great strengths, but we keep on rooting ourselves in Torah. And it's just understood and reinterpreted in different places around the globe, in different times, and in different ages. Now, this teaching from Menachot is not over yet. So Moses is now before God and says, wow, you have a man as great as Akiva, and yet you're still going to give the Torah through me? Why? And God said, shtok, quiet. Kach ala b'machshava lefanai. Be silent. Thus it's come to my mind. All right, so just accept it. So Moses says before God, Master of the universe, you've shown me Rabbi Akiva's Torah. Now show me his reward. And then God takes him back to the future to a devastating sight of Rabbi Akiva's flesh being weighed out in the marketplace. He had been tortured to death by the Romans. And Moses is very upset and says, Master of the universe, this is the Torah and this is its reward? And God says, shtok. It's a disturbing account, the ending, but it reminds us a bit that there's some things that we cannot understand. Thank God we're not living in a time of Roman oppression and persecution. You know, we're in a time of relative safety and security. But the whole question is, why are things happening the way they are? It comes down to the limits of our mortality, of being human beings. Even though we say, may we live to Admei Esrim until 120, many of us would be pretty content if we can have some health and vitality into our 80s or maybe even 90s. But when you think about the short scope of our years in comparison to the existence of our universe, even just our planet, it is minuscule. And hence our understanding about things, about why things happen the way they do. We cannot understand, and we may be able to understand scientifically about the virus, COVID-19, and how it spread. And we'll understand enough to be able to develop a vaccine in time. But looking at how it's impacting all of us individually, as a community, as a world, there comes a point of time where we are stuck. There's a silence. There is a part of us that you just have to live with what is. Live with what is. And what is the Jewish way that we've always lived with what is, with things that are beyond our capacity to control? It's holding on even stronger and tighter to our values, to our Torah, to our tradition, to our heritage, to our culture, because this is what can anchor us. It is what gives our lives meaning. There's a nice story about Rabbi Akiva when he was teaching Torah and he was warned by one of his students, don't you realize it's against the law? The Romans, they're going to get you, Akiva. And Akiva says, it's like this, let me tell you this parable. There was this fox, this hungry fox by this stream of water. And the fox saw all these fishes swimming. And the fox called out to them, fish, oh fishies, fishies. When the fish point their head out of the water to hear the fox says, don't you know there are fishermen with nets at the far end of the stream? They're going to catch you. You are in danger. They start getting all panicky. Oh no, what do we do? Fox says, tell you what, come on out onto my back and I'm going to take you to another riverbed where you'll be safe. Fish are swimming around a bit. And then all of a sudden one of them speaks out from the water and says, oh, fox, you think you're so clever. The water is what gives us life. How if we live if we leave the water? If we go on your back, you will surely eat us. We'll take our chances here in the water. So Rabbi Akiva then turns to a student and says, the Torah is our water. The Torah is our life. I will take my chances here, teaching, studying, learning. Now, thank God also that as Jews, we can be proud Jews living in the United States, studying, being open with our identity without imperiling our well-being. So how much more so can we cling to it? Can we learn? Can we pray? Can we draw strength from one another? And look at ways to strengthen our resolve and who we are. So with the remaining time you have left, I'm going to encourage you to discuss the ways that Judaism has changed throughout your lifetime. And how does it even compare to the lifetime of your grandparents? And what are the ways that it's been beneficial, that things have become stronger for you, strengthening your connection to each other, to God, to Torah, to history. So I want to thank you for joining me here for this teaching. I want to wish you safety, healthy. May you grow wise in the teachings of our tradition in Torah. And may you all have a Chag Sameach.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Myers. So we have a little bit of time, a few minutes to get to discuss some of the ideas that Rabbi Myers shared with both the changing and unchanging nature of Torah, that Moses could go and hear Rabbi Akiva's teaching and both feel like it was so different in such a different context and time and age, and yet then discover that it really was his teaching being updated. So Rabbi Meyer's questions were, how has Judaism changed over the years? How has Judaism been different similar or different from your direct ancestors? And what are ways that Judaism has evolved today to make it more meaningful? And we have some hands here. Norma, love to hear some of your thoughts. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, let's go to Rabbi Joe. Are you there, Rabbi Joe? We got 3 hands up. Okay, let's see if I can, all right, then. Gerald, any thoughts about the evolving nature of Judaism?
Well, yes, as my rabbi, who apparently is sleeping now, I can't blame him, but he was here. It was Rabbi David Young, and he said, and I thought it really resonated with me, that all Jews are reformed, just some are reformed faster and some are reformed slower than others. And we've made many changes, and little by little others have come along, with some, not with all yet, but I can't say that they never will. My guess is that they will. My personal feeling is I hope some of them don't, but it depends on what the items are, because the reform movement is very progressive, quite frankly, more progressive than I am, and by some measure. But I'm happy. I guess I'm happy as I can be where I am in the reform movement, and that's it. That's it.
Thank you, Gerald. Yeah, each one of us, what I'm hearing in that is each one of us gets to decide how we want to update Judaism to be meaningful and relevant in our lives. And it's a spectrum. Okay. Well, we're going to thank you, Yasher Koach, and we're going to move on to Rabbi Joel Berman.